How to stay mentally sharp after 80. Sounds impossible? Not if you know the secrets. Welcome to Elder Secrets, the podcast where timeless wisdom meets modern science. Today, we unlock the habits, routines, and hidden gems that help sharp minds defy age. Whether you're 60, 80, or simply curious, you're about to discover that your best mental years might still be ahead.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack the most vital insights from a stack of sources, giving you a shortcut to being truly well-informed. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a topic that touches everyone, regardless of age, staying mentally sharp after 80. Now, you might be thinking, is that really possible? Don't our brains just, inevitably slow down? And that's where the surprising truth comes in. Research is now showing a resounding yes.
It absolutely is.
It is not only possible to maintain incredible cognitive vitality well into your 80s and beyond, but today's octogenarians are actively redefining what aging looks like.
That's right.
I mean, they're starting new businesses, mastering new languages, embracing cutting-edge technology.
Yeah, and contributing to their communities in ways that just shatter those old stereotypes.
So our mission in this deep dive is to bust those persistent myths, pull out the most fascinating science-backed insights from our source material, staying mentally sharp after 80, a lifelong guide, and really equip you with practical strategies. Whether you're planning for your own future, or maybe supporting a loved one who's already crossed that milestone, this deep dive is definitely for you. Let's start by looking at what modern science tells us about the aging brain, because the reality...
Well, it's far more hopeful than you might imagine.
Okay, so one of the most stubborn myths we encounter is this idea that our brains inevitably decline after a certain age.
Right, that it's all downhill.
Exactly. But modern neuroscience paints a very different picture. It highlights just how incredibly adaptable and resilient our brains remain throughout our entire lives.
Adaptable even later in life.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to understand the difference between normal age-related changes, like maybe a slight slowing of processing speed or needing a moment longer to recall a name.
Things we all notice sometimes.
Right. Versus more serious conditions such as dementia. They're not the same thing at all. In fact, what's truly fascinating is that many aspects of our brains actually improve with age.
Improve? Okay, tell me more. Well, things like wisdom, or what we call crystallized intelligence, that deep well of accumulated knowledge and experience.
The stuff you learn over a lifetime.
Precisely. And an improved ability to see the big picture, to connect the dots. Those often become stronger as we get older. Your brain isn't just maintaining, it's getting better at certain crucial functions.
Yeah, it's such an empowering insight. It means experience isn't just valuable, it's like a cognitive superpower.
Mm-hmm.
And building on that idea of the brain's incredible capacity, one of the most exciting discoveries is this concept of neuroplasticity.
Yes.
You've probably heard of it. That amazing ability of our brains to rewire themselves.
It's revolutionary.
And what's truly revolutionary is that this doesn't stop in childhood. Your brain is like a dynamic, ever-rebuilding city, constantly forming new connections and detours for information.
Even at 80, 90, or beyond, it's quite remarkable.
And we now know that new brain cells can even be generated in certain areas, right? That process called neurogenesis.
Yes, neurogenesis. It was once thought to cease completely after childhood, but we now understand it continues lifelong, albeit in specific regions.
Wow.
And this leads directly to the concept of cognitive reserve, a term highlighted by research from places like Harvard Medical School and other leading institutions.
Cognitive reserve sounds important, like a backup.
Exactly. Think of it as your brain's backup system, or maybe a savings account. Individuals who've built up higher cognitive reserve can maintain better cognitive function even when they experience age-related brain changes or even some pathology.
How does that work?
Their brains have simply built more robust alternative pathways to accomplish mental tasks. It really operates on that classic use it or lose it principle.
The old saying.
It holds true here. Just like muscles, neural pathways that are regularly challenged and used remain strong and robust. Those that aren't used, well, they can weaken.
That's why we see such dramatic differences in individuals often called superagers. These are people in their 90s whose cognitive abilities truly rival those decades younger.
They're fascinating cases.
And what sets these superagers apart isn't just genetics, right? Though I'm sure that plays a role.
Genetics is part of it, yes, but it's not the whole story. It's their consistent lifestyle choices, their proactive attitudes toward learning, and their unwavering commitment to staying mentally engaged.
It's an inspiring roadmap for all of us, really.
And it provides so much hope because the strategies we're discussing aren't just about slowing decline.
Okay.
While some brain regions, particularly those responsible for processing speed and working memory, can be affected by age.
The areas we might notice slowing down a bit.
Correct. But areas associated with vocabulary, general knowledge, and emotional regulation often remain stable or even improve.
So some things actually get better.
Yes. Understanding this means the strategies we employ aren't just maintaining the status quo, they're actively building new capabilities and strengthening existing ones, giving our brains an incredible boost.
So if our brains are truly this adaptable throughout life, what are some of the most powerful everyday tools we have to actively leverage that resilience? Our source material emphasizes lifelong learning as one of the most potent.
Definitely one of the big ones.
And we're not talking about going back to university necessarily, though that's always an option, I suppose.
Exactly. The research is compelling because it focuses on sustained mental effort. It's not just about staying busy. It's about challenging the brain.
Sustained mental effort. Like what?
Well, a study published in Psychological Science, for instance, found that older adults who learned genuinely new, complex skills like digital photography or quilting showed significant improvements in memory function.
Not just doing crosswords they already know how to do.
Right. The key wasn't just doing something, but actively acquiring new knowledge and skills and learning a new language. That's an incredible cognitive workout.
I've heard that's really good for the brain.
It is. Bilingual individuals often demonstrate a delayed onset of cognitive decline and significantly stronger executive function, basically, turbocharging their brain's control center.
And technology today offers just unprecedented opportunities for learning, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The options are vast.
Think online courses from platforms like Coursera, ADX, or Khan Academy, where you can learn anything from coding to ancient history.
Virtual museum tours, digital art classes, educational apps.
Yeah, and many libraries even offer technology training specifically designed for older adults.
Which is fantastic.
For someone who's new to this, what's one piece of technology or type of learning you'd suggest they start with that offers the biggest brain benefit?
That's a good question. I'd say anything that's novel and engaging for them.
So personal interest matters.
Definitely. Maybe a language app, if they're curious about languages. Or a beginner's online course in a completely new skill, something they've never tried before. That immediately forces your brain to build new pathways.
Makes sense.
And beyond formal settings or technology, non-formal learning activities are just as powerful.
Like hobbies.
Yes, reading complex fiction, learning to play a musical instrument, which is amazing. It activates multiple brain networks and enhances connectivity, even hobbies like painting, woodworking, or gardening. They all provide fantastic mental stimulation.
And what about games and puzzles? Are those helpful?
They can be, but the key is variety and progression. Strategy games like chess or bridge offer far more comprehensive benefits than, say, doing the same type of Sudoku puzzle every day.
Why is that?
Because strategy games demand constant adaptation, planning, and forward thinking. They challenge different cognitive skills. Repetitive puzzles become automatic after a while.
Got it. Keep mixing it up. And we can't overlook the social aspect of learning, can we?
No, that's huge. Joining book clubs or group classes adds a social dimension that profoundly enhances the cognitive benefits.
It's like a dual workout for your brain learning and interacting.
Exactly.
You know, it makes me think of the inspiring anecdote of Grandma Moses. She didn't even start painting until she was in her 70s.
An incredible story.
And continued creating acclaimed artwork well into her 90s. Her story really puts that never too late message into vivid perspective.
Her story powerfully illustrates the importance of a growth mindset, viewing aging as an opportunity for continued development and learning rather than as a period of inevitable decline.
So believing you can still learn and grow matters.
It really does.
Yeah.
That positive attitude isn't just a nice thought. Research suggests it's actually a protective mechanism for your cognitive health.
Okay, so lifelong learning is key. But while many of us focus on mental exercises for cognitive sharpness, I've heard some compelling research that suggests physical activity might be even more crucial for brain health.
You're absolutely right. That connection is incredibly strong.
Can you shed some light on why that might be the case? Why does moving our bodies help our brains so much?
Well, the connection between physical exercise and brain health is one of the most robust findings in aging research. And it's truly remarkable how much impact just moving our bodies can have.
More than we might think.
Definitely. Exercise benefits the brain in multiple profound ways. First, it directly increases blood flow to the brain. delivering essential oxygen and nutrients. That's fundamental.
Okay, more fuel for the brain.
Right. But even more critically, it stimulates the production of something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF.
BDNF. What's that?
Think of BDNF as miracle grow for your brain cells. It promotes the growth of new neurons, helps existing ones survive, and strengthens the connections between them.
Wow, like fertilizer for the brain.
Exactly. And what's particularly astonishing is that the hippocampus, the brain region crucial for forming new memories, is especially responsive to exercise.
The memory center.
Yes. Research from the University of British Columbia actually showed that regular aerobic exercise increased the size of the hippocampus in older women.
Increase the size.
Yes, reversing typical age-related shrinkage in that area.
Reversing shrinkage, that's mind-boggling. It fundamentally changes how we think about brain potential as we age.
It really does.
So, what kind of movement gives us this kind of superpower? Do we need to become marathon runners?
Not at all. And that's the great news. You don't need to be an Olympic athlete. Moderate aerobic exercise is fantastic.
Like what?
Things like brisk walking, swimming, cycling, or dancing. Aiming for about 30 minutes most days of the week. That yields significant cognitive benefits.
Just walking.
Yes. A PNAS study, for instance, showed that older adults who simply walked regularly for 6 months experienced increased brain activity. And the greatest improvements were seen in those who were previously sedentary.
So starting makes a big difference.
A huge difference. Resistance training also improves executive function, those planning and organizing skills.
Weightlifting or resistance bands.
Exactly. And balance and coordination exercises like Tai Chi or yoga, which combine mindful movement with mental focus, can significantly improve cognitive function, especially memory.
Tai Chi is great for balance too, isn't it?
Very much so, which also helps prevent falls, another important factor for older adults.
And just like with learning, the social aspect of exercise, like joining group classes or clubs, adds even more cognitive benefits, right?
Absolutely. There's something powerful about moving together, the shared goal, the interaction.
It layers on that social stimulation we talked about.
Precisely. And consistency is far more important than intensity. Even light physical activity throughout the day benefits the brain, and it's truly never too late to start.
That's so encouraging.
Plus, regular physical activity has the added bonus of improving sleep quality, creating a powerful positive cycle for overall cognitive function. We'll probably talk more about sleep later.
Definitely. Okay, so we've got learning, we've got moving. What about fueling the brain? What we put into our bodies obviously has a profound impact on how our brains function.
Immense impact.
And this relationship becomes even more critical after 80, right? Considering the brain is such an energy hog, consuming about 20% of our daily calories.
That's exactly right. And the diet pattern that consistently emerges as the most brain protective is the Mediterranean diet.
Ah, yes, the Mediterranean diet. We hear a lot about that. What makes it so good for the brain?
Well, what's truly revolutionary about it isn't just the individual superfoods, though those are important. It's how their synergy creates a sustained anti-inflammatory shield around your brain.
An anti-inflammatory shield. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. It emphasizes omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These are crucial for building healthy brain cell membranes and ensuring smooth neuron communication.
The good fats.
The really good fats. Extra virgin olive oil, a cornerstone of this diet, actively fights brain inflammation. And berries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, they're packed with powerful plant compounds called anthocyanins.
The colorful ones?
Exactly. They're like tiny, colorful brain protectors that accumulate right where memories are formed. The Nurses' Health study showed slower rates of cognitive decline in those who ate the most berries.
Wow. So eat your berries.
Definitely. And leafy green vegetables like spinach and kale, they're crammed with essentials like folate, vitamin K, lutein. Think of these as tiny internal repair crews and shield bearers, keeping your brain cells healthy and strong.
Repair crews. Nice analogy.
A Rush University study even found people eating daily greens had brains functioning as if they were 11 years younger.
11 years younger. That's incredible.
It's a powerful effect. And nuts, particularly walnuts, provide healthy fats, and vitamin E, another important antioxidant.
Okay, so fish, olive oil, berries, greens, nuts. Anything else crucial?
Yes. One critical, often overlooked factor is hydration.
Water.
Water. Your brain is about 75% water, and even mild dehydration can impair concentration and memory.
And I've heard our sense of thirst can diminish as we age.
That's right, making it easier to become dehydrated without realizing it. So, consciously sipping water throughout the day is a simple but powerful brain booster.
Just keep that water bottle handy.
Good strategy.
And what about a couple of favorites for many of us? Coffee and tea? Any brain benefits there?
Yes, they can offer both short-term alertness, obviously, but also long-term antioxidant protection. Green tea, in particular, contains L-theanine, which promotes a state of calm alertness and may even enhance cognitive function.
Calm alertness. Interesting.
On the flip side, though, there are foods that can sabotage cognitive health.
Things to avoid or limit.
Definitely. Highly processed foods, excess sugar, and trans fats. These promote inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain, essentially creating internal chaos that damages cells over time.
So ditch the junk food.
Pretty much, yes. And while some research suggests meal timing, like intermittent fasting, might benefit brain health, that's something that should always be discussed with a healthcare provider first. It's not for everyone.
Good caveat. What about supplements? Omega-3 pills? B12?
They can be considered, especially if there's a known deficiency like B12, which is more common in older adults. But prioritizing nutrients from whole, real foods is always the gold standard. Supplements can't replicate the complex synergy of nutrients in whole foods.
Food first.
Food first. The real insight here is how deeply we can influence our brain's resilience by what's on our plate every single day.
And let's not forget the cognitive stimulation and social benefits of social eating and cooking.
Oh, absolutely. It's a multisensory, socially engaging experience that's fantastic for the brain. Sharing meals, talking,
Planning the meal, following the recipe.
all great cognitive engagement. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's clear that cultivating meaningful relationships is a powerful act of self-care for the brain.
That's a perfect segue. Human beings are inherently social creatures, right? And this fundamental aspect of our nature becomes even more critical for cognitive health as we age.
Absolutely essential.
In fact, I read that social isolation is now recognized as a significant risk factor for cognitive decline, comparable to things like smoking or high blood pressure.
That's correct. The data is quite strong on that. The Harvard study of adult development, which has followed participants for over 80 years,
Wow, 80 years.
has consistently found that strong social relationships lead to better cognitive function as people age, while loneliness correlates with faster decline.
Why is that? What's happening in the brain during social interaction?
Well, the reason is profound. Social interactions are incredibly complex cognitive activities. Think about it. They demand that our brains constantly process verbal and nonverbal cues.
Reading faces, tone of voice.
Exactly. Remembering shared experiences, empathizing, adapting communication styles depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of work when you break it down.
It is. All of this actively exercises multiple brain networks simultaneously, keeping them robust and resilient. It's like a full workout for different parts of the brain.
That's why group activities like book clubs, discussion groups, or volunteer organizations provide even richer cognitive stimulation, isn't it?
Precisely. They add that layer of shared experience and collaborative thinking that truly turbocharges the benefits. You're not just passively receiving information, you're actively engaging with others around ideas.
Makes sense.
And religious or spiritual communities also often offer powerful cognitive benefits, providing meaning, purpose, social connection, stress reduction, and mental stimulation, all rolled into one.
That combination sounds very protective. And what about different generations interacting?
Oh, intergenerational relationships are uniquely beneficial. Exposing older adults to new perspectives, new technologies, even just a different pace of thought from younger people can be incredibly invigorating for the brain. And vice versa, of course.
Learning from each other.
Exactly. Technology has also opened up huge new avenues for connection, bridging physical distances.
Like video calls.
Video calling platforms, Skype, FaceTime, Zoom. They became crucially important during the COVID-19 pandemic, allowing face-to-face interactions, regardless of distance. It made a massive difference for so many.
Absolutely.
And there are even specialized social media platforms like Stitch or Silver Sneakers Go that provide opportunities specifically for older adults to connect with peers who share interests.
So tech can fight isolation.
It really can. But it's important to stress that the quality of relationships matters more than the quantity.
A few close friends over hundreds of acquaintances.
Exactly. A few deep, meaningful connections are far more protective for the brain than many superficial ones. And volunteering is another powerful combination.
How so?
It combines that social connection with mental stimulation and often a sense of purpose. It's consistently linked to better cognitive function and lower rates of depression and anxiety.
That makes sense. Doing good feels good, and it's good for the brain, too.
It really seems to be.
Now, caregiving. That's a complex one. It's demanding, obviously, but Can it also be cognitively stimulating?
It absolutely can be,
Yeah.
requiring problem solving, planning, empathy. But there's a very important caveat:
Burnout.
burnout.
Hmm.
Adequate support for caregivers is absolutely essential to prevent the stress from outweighing the cognitive benefits.
That's critical.
And for those facing isolation, community resources like senior centers or meal programs can be invaluable lifelines, providing both social contact and often a nutritious meal.
Good point.
Timing social activities for peak alertness can also maximize their cognitive and emotional benefits. If someone tends to have more energy mid-morning, that might be the best time for a social outing.
Working with your natural rhythms.
Exactly. The real insight here is that nurturing our connections isn't just, a nice thing to do for our emotional well-being. It's a vital part of our brain's defense strategy against cognitive decline.
Okay, we've covered learning, moving, eating, connecting. But what about stress? Chronic stress is truly the silent thief of mental sharpness, isn't it?
That's a very apt description. Its effects on the brain, particularly as we age, are profound and often insidious.
How does it actually harm the brain?
Well, when stress becomes chronic, the continuous release of stress hormones like cortisol can literally damage brain cells.
Damage them.
Yes, especially in the hippocampus, that crucial area for memory formation and recall we mentioned earlier. Over time, this can accelerate cognitive decline.
And later life often brings its own unique stressors, doesn't it?
It certainly can. Things like health concerns, maybe a loss of independence, financial worries, bereavement, social isolation. These can all contribute to chronic stress.
It seems like a lot to manage.
It can be. And it's crucial to understand that depression and anxiety are not normal parts of aging.
That's so important to emphasize.
They are treatable medical problems, and they significantly impact cognitive function. Depression, for instance, can sometimes even mimic cognitive decline, a phenomenon occasionally called pseudodementia. Someone might seem like they have dementia, but it's actually severe depression affecting their thinking.
And treatment can reverse that.
Often, yes. Treating the depression can lead to significant cognitive improvement. And we should also mention the vicious cycle between poor sleep and stress.
Ah, yes. Stress keeps you up at night.
And being sleep deprived makes you much more vulnerable to stress the next day. It feeds on itself.
This is why practices like meditation and mindfulness are so incredibly beneficial and accessible, right?
Hugely beneficial. And accessible is the key word. They require no special equipment.
And the research is pretty strong now.
Yes, compelling research shows they can actually change brain structure over time, increasing gray matter in areas related to learning and memory, and reducing activity in areas related to mind wandering and stress.
Wow. So for someone who's never tried it, how might they start? It can seem intimidating.
It doesn't have to be. Even just 5 minutes a day of focused breathing can be a powerful start. There are tons of apps or guided meditations available online, many for free, that make it really easy to try.
Just 5 minutes? That seems manageable.
It is. And physical relaxation techniques, like progressive muscle relaxation, tensing and releasing different muscle groups, or deep breathing exercises, or gentle yoga, these can also significantly reduce the physical manifestations of stress and lower cortisol levels.
Getting it out of the body.
Exactly. Beyond specific techniques, having a strong sense of purpose and meaning in life plays a crucial role in maintaining cognitive function. It provides a framework for resilience, a reason to push through challenges.
Something to live for, basically.
Essentially, yes.
And for developing more robust coping strategies and adapting to life changes, therapy can be really helpful, can't it? Like cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT?
Tremendously beneficial tools. CBT and other counseling approaches can help people learn to identify unhelpful thought patterns and develop healthier ways of coping with stress and adapting to the changes that inevitably come with aging.
The building that mental toolkit.
Precisely. And maintaining a healthy routine, but with a healthy dose of variety built in, and fostering acceptance of what cannot be changed. These are also fundamental for managing aging-related stresses.
Routine, but not rigidity.
Exactly. The key takeaway here really is how absolutely essential it is to actively manage stress for our brain health. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Which leads us nicely into sleep. You mentioned the link between stress and sleep. Sleep is truly when the magic happens for our brains, isn't it?
It really is. Magic is a good word for it.
It's when our minds consolidate memories, process information from the day, and quite literally clear out metabolic waste. For maintaining mental sharpness, quality sleep isn't just restorative. It's absolutely essential.
Couldn't agree more. And as we age, our sleep patterns do naturally change.
How so?
We might find ourselves going to bed earlier and waking up earlier. We tend to experience less deep restorative sleep and maybe have more awakenings during the night.
That sounds familiar for many older adults.
It's quite common. And these changes can indeed impact the brain's ability to effectively consolidate memories and clear out those toxins we mentioned.
The brain's cleaning crew.
Yes, the glymphatic system. It's a fascinating process. Imagine your brain activating its own dedicated plumbing and waste disposal crew during sleep, especially during deep sleep.
What does it do?
It literally shrinks brain cells slightly to create more space between them, and then cerebrospinal fluid flushes through, washing out metabolic waste, including harmful proteins like amyloid beta.
The protein linked to Alzheimer's.
Exactly. Amyloid beta is strongly associated with Alzheimer's disease. Poor sleep significantly impairs this vital nightly cleaning process. If the waste isn't cleared effectively night after night, it can build up.
That's a really powerful visual, the brain taking out the trash while we sleep.
It is. And it highlights why consistent quality sleep is so critical.
And the link between sleep disorders and cognitive decline is pretty concerning too, right? Things like sleep apnea or insomnia.
Very concerning.
Yeah.
Conditions like sleep apnea, where breathing repeatedly stops and starts, lead to reduced oxygen levels and fragmented sleep. Chronic insomnia obviously impairs attention, working memory, and executive function the next day, but long-term, both can really take a toll on cognitive health.
So managing those conditions is a critical part of protecting the brain.
Absolutely critical. Getting diagnosed and treated is key.
So how can people optimize their sleep, especially as they get older?
Well, creating the right environment is a good start. Aim for a cool, dark, and quiet bedroom. Blackout curtains, eye masks, maybe white noise or earplugs can be very helpful.
Make it a sleep sanctuary.
Exactly. And good sleep hygiene is key. This means having a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed, and waking up around the same time every day, even on weekends.
Consistency matters.
Very much. Also, avoiding caffeine late in the day and limiting screen time, phones, tablets, computers before bed. The blue light they emit interferes with melatonin production, the hormone that signals sleep.
Put the phone away an hour before bed.
That's a great goal. Read a physical book instead.
What about naps? Are they good or bad?
Short naps, maybe 20 to 30 minutes in the early afternoon, can be beneficial. They can offer a quick cognitive refresh without interfering too much with nighttime sleep.
But avoid long naps late in the day.
Right. Longer naps or naps taken too late in the afternoon can sometimes make it harder to fall asleep at night.
Got it.
And remember that physical activity, the stuff we talked about earlier, consistently promotes better sleep. And if someone suspects underlying medical conditions or medications might be affecting their sleep, they should definitely discuss that with their healthcare provider.
Don't just assume poor sleep is normal.
Never assume that. What's fascinating here is just how much critical work our brains do while we're sleeping to keep us sharp. It really underscores how important it is to prioritize quality sleep.
And while natural approaches like relaxation techniques or maybe some herbal teas can help wind down, it's important to use sleep medications cautiously, right? And under medical supervision.
Yes, definitely. They can have side effects and potential long-term issues, so they should be used carefully and usually aren't a first-line or long-term solution.
Okay, that's incredibly helpful. Let's shift gears slightly to technology. For older adults looking to stay mentally sharp after 80, embracing technology isn't just about keeping up, is it?
Not at all.
It's really about accessing powerful tools for cognitive stimulation, social connection, and lifelong learning.
Precisely. Learning new technology itself provides exactly the kind of cognitive challenge that keeps the brain flexible and adaptive.
How so?
Well, think about when an older adult learns to use a smartphone or a tablet for the first time. They are actively engaging working memory, attention, processing speed, and executive function. All those crucial cognitive abilities we want to maintain.
Just the act of learning it is exercise for the brain.
Exactly. And then think about the specific opportunities it opens up. Online courses for learning new things.
Like we talked about earlier.
Right. Video calling platforms like Skype, FaceTime, Zoom for social connections, maintaining those vital ties with family and friends, especially if they live far away.
That became so clear during the pandemic.
Absolutely crucial. And specialized social media platforms like Stitch or Silver Sneakers Rio can help older adults connect with peers who share similar interests.
Finding community online.
Yes. Technology also enhances accessibility in amazing ways. E-readers and tablets allow you to adjust font size and contrast, which is great for vision changes. Audiobooks are another fantastic option.
Makes reading accessible again for some people.
It does. And even things like brain training apps or games, while maybe not a magic bullet, can offer entertainment and some mild cognitive stimulation. Though, as we said, strategy games probably offer more comprehensive benefits.
Okay.
Voice-activated assistants like Alexa or Google Assistant can offer real convenience for daily tasks, getting information, setting reminders.
Reducing some cognitive load there.
Potentially, yes. And health monitoring technology, fitness trackers, fall detection devices, medication reminders can aid in daily health management and provide peace of mind.
That all sounds amazing, theoretically. But for someone who's genuinely intimidated by tech, maybe feels embarrassed they don't know how to use it, where do they even begin? What's the single most impactful tech step an older adult could take to boost their cognitive health and ease into this?
The single most impactful. I probably suggest starting with video calling.
Why video calling?
Because it has an immediate, clear, and emotionally rewarding benefit. Connecting face-to-face with loved ones, seeing grandkids, catching up with old friends visually. That direct payoff often provides the motivation needed to overcome the initial hurdles and frustration of learning something new.
The why is very strong.
Exactly. And of course, education on security and privacy is essential alongside that to build confidence and prevent scams.
Very important point.
It's also important to emphasize selective adoption. You don't need to master every new gadget or app that comes out.
Focus on what's useful to you.
Right. Focus on the technologies that offer clear benefits for your specific needs and interests. The goal is purposeful use, not just using tech for tech's sake.
And many modern devices also have fantastic built-in accessibility features now, don't they?
They really do. Things like large text options, high contrast modes, voice control. These can help overcome physical limitations and make technology much more user-friendly and less intimidating.
It's worth exploring those settings.
Definitely. This whole area really raises an important question about how we as a society can make technology more welcoming and less intimidating for older adults. It's about designing for inclusivity and providing patient, supportive instruction, whether from family, friends, or community programs.
Making it a bridge, not a barrier.
Exactly.
Okay, so tech can be a powerful tool. Let's talk about the broader environment. The environment in which we live, our home, our community, that profoundly impacts our cognitive health and overall well-being too, doesn't it?
Oh, enormously.
For older adults, creating a supportive environment becomes not just about comfort and safety, but about providing constant cognitive nourishment and opportunities for continued growth.
That's perfectly put. The physical environment itself greatly supports cognitive function in ways we might not always think about.
Like what?
Well, simple things like good lighting, especially natural light or full-spectrum bulbs, reduce eye strain and the cognitive load associated with trying to see clearly.
Makes sense.
Organization and accessibility also reduce mental effort. If things are easy to find and reach, you're freeing up cognitive energy for more stimulating activities rather than searching for lost keys.
Decluttering helps the brain.
It really can. And having a stimulating environment, one filled with books, art, music, maybe puzzles left out, provides ongoing passive engagement.
Little nudges towards activity.
Exactly. And while aging in place, staying in a familiar environment offers cognitive advantages through familiarity, it often requires safety modifications. Removing tripping hazards, adding grab bars, that reduces the risk of falls, which can have major cognitive consequences.
Safety is key for independence.
Crucial. And in care settings, facilities that actively encourage independence and offer varied stimulation tend to support better cognitive outcomes. Autonomy matters.
And the social environment is just as crucial, maybe even more so.
Absolutely. Being surrounded by family and friends who actively encourage continued learning and growth makes an enormous difference.
Like having a built-in encouragement engine for your brain.
That's a great way to put it. Conversely, we need to be careful about well-meaning overprotection.
How so?
Sometimes family members, trying to be helpful, take over tasks that the older adult can still perform independently. While well-intentioned, this can inadvertently contribute to cognitive decline through disuse that use it or lose its principle again.
Letting people do things for themselves, even if it takes longer.
Exactly. It's vital to provide meaningful choice and control within the environment wherever possible. Letting people decide their daily routines, choose activities they enjoy, that supports well-being and function.
Agency is important.
Very. Transportation is another big environmental factor. Reliable transportation significantly impacts the ability to maintain social connections and access stimulating activities outside the home.
Getting to the library, the senior center, visiting friends.
All of that. And access to healthcare providers who are knowledgeable about aging and focus on maintaining function, not just treating illness, is key.
Yeah.
They can be crucial partners in this journey.
Finding the right doctor.
Hmm.
And community-level opportunities like vibrant libraries, active senior centers, local cultural institutions, they also contribute significantly to a stimulating environment, don't they?
They're incredibly important, offering accessible avenues for learning, socializing, and engagement right in the local area. Even thoughtful living space design can make a difference, designing spaces that encourage movement and activity, like having easy access to outdoor spaces or putting frequently used items in places that require a bit of walking.
Integrating activity into the layout.
Yes, and integrating technology, as we discussed, should aim to enhance, not replace, human interaction. And finally, access to outdoor environments, gardens, parks offers proven benefits for stress reduction and cognitive function. Nature is restorative.
So here's where it gets really interesting, thinking about how our surroundings can either boost or hinder our brain's vitality.
Right. The environment isn't just a passive backdrop. It's an active ingredient in our cognitive health.
Now, we touched on cognitive reserve earlier, but let's dive a bit deeper. You described it as a brain's savings account, which is a great analogy. It seems like perhaps one of the most important concepts for understanding how to maintain mental sharpness after 80.
I would agree. It's a really powerful and hopeful concept. The more reserve you've built up over your lifetime, the better equipped your brain is to handle age-related changes or even disease pathology. It acts like a buffer against cognitive decline.
And you mentioned it originated from observing people who had signs of Alzheimer's in their brains after death, but showed no symptoms in life.
Exactly. That fascinating paradox. Individuals who, despite having significant brain pathology, plaques, and tangles on autopsy, showed no cognitive decline during their lives. It led researchers to theorize that their brains had somehow built up more efficient pathways and connections, allowing them to compensate.
They had workarounds, essentially.
That's a good way to think about it, yes. More flexible, resilient networks. And we now know that cognitive reserve is actively built throughout life.
How do we build it? What contributes to this savings account?
Several key factors. Higher levels of education and having occupations that require complex thinking and problem solving are strong predictors.
Challenging your brain at work or school.
Yes. Bilingualism is another powerful builder. Research suggests it can delay dementia onset by an average of 4 to 5 years and significantly strengthens executive control.
Learning that second language pays off.
It really does seem to. Musical training is another great example. Learning and playing music integrates multiple brain systems and enhances connectivity between them.
Makes sense. It involves so many different skills.
It does. Consistent social engagement, as we've discussed, provides complex cognitive demands. Physical activity also builds reserve by promoting new brain cells and enhancing connections. And creative activities like painting, writing, or crafting engage multiple networks and foster cognitive flexibility.
So it's a combination of intellectual, social, physical, and creative pursuits.
Exactly. It's multifaceted. Now, timing matters somewhat. While cognitive reserve can certainly be built at any age, activities engaged in during midlife seem to be particularly important for laying a strong foundation.
But it's not too late if you're past midlife.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's crucial to stress that it's never too late. Activities begun in later life, learning a new skill, increasing physical activity, expanding social networks, can still provide significant benefits and add to that reserve. Every bit helps.
That's really the key message, isn't it? Keep building.
Keep building.
And you mentioned variety earlier. Variety in stimulating activities, physical, social, intellectual, builds the strongest, most resilient reserve, right? It's not about doing just one thing perfectly.
Precisely. It's about challenging the brain in different ways, building multiple types of pathways and connections. Think of it like cross-training for your brain.
Cross-training for the brain. I like that.
This understanding is both empowering and perhaps a little sobering.
How so?
It's empowering because it suggests we have significant control over our cognitive destiny through lifelong choices. But it's also sobering because it highlights that consistent good choices over time are key. It's a long game.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the choices we make today are truly investments in our future cognitive vitality.
Exactly. You're building the resilience your brain will rely on decades from now.
Now that we've explored all this fascinating science behind maintaining mental sharpness, let's get really practical. Let's bring it down to the day-to-day. What does a day in the life of someone committed to cognitive health actually look like?
Okay, yeah, let's translate this into action. The key, I think, is creating sustainable daily routines that are integrated, not overwhelming.
Not adding a whole bunch of new chores to the list.
Right. Think about weaving brain-healthy activities throughout your day rather than seeing them as separate, burdensome tasks.
Okay, give me some examples. How could this look?
Well, your morning routine, for instance, could start with some mental stimulation. Maybe reading a challenging article, doing a crossword, or Sudoku, or spending 15 minutes on that language learning app.
Starting the day with a brain boost.
Exactly. Physical activity can be woven in too. Maybe it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator whenever possible, doing short walking breaks if you sit a lot, or starting the day with some simple stretches.
Little bits of movement add up.
They really do. Even meal planning and preparation itself is a fantastic cognitive exercise.
How's that?
It engages executive function planning, organizing, plus memory for recipes, maybe even creativity and adapting them. And if you cook or eat with others, you get the social interaction too.
Multitasking for brain health.
In a good way. Prioritize and actually plan social interaction. Schedule that phone call with a friend. Sign up for the virtual book club. Make time for volunteering. Don't leave it to chance.
Be intentional about connecting.
Yes. If you're learning a new skill, dedicate manageable daily chunks, maybe just 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh.
Consistency is more important than long, infrequent sessions.
Little and often.
Perfect. Use technology purposefully for educational content, active engagement like video calls or online classes, not just passively scrolling.
Quality screen time.
Right. Your evening routine should consciously prepare you for restorative sleep. Wind down with activities like gentle stretching, maybe some meditation or deep breathing, or reading a physical book instead of looking at a screen.
Signaling to your body it's time to rest.
Exactly. Weekly planning can help ensure variety and prevent getting stuck in a rut. Maybe Monday is for a walk with a friend, Tuesday is library day, Wednesday is trying a new recipe.
Building in that novelty.
Yes. And stress management should be a daily practice, even if it's just taking a few moments for mindful breathing throughout the day or spending 5 minutes journaling.
Making it a habit.
Even simple environmental modifications like organizing your workspace or ensuring good lighting where you read reduce that background cognitive load.
Small tweaks matter.
They do. And ultimately, the most successful strategies are always those that align with your individual interests and abilities. It has to be enjoyable, or at least meaningful, to be sustainable long-term.
Find what works for you.
Absolutely.
That's such a practical roadmap, it makes it feel much more achievable. What's one piece of advice you'd give our listener about integrating these into their daily rhythm to make them stick?
One piece of advice. I'd say start small, celebrate every step, however minor it seems, and build on success.
Don't try to overhaul everything overnight.
Exactly. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one new habit that genuinely interests you, maybe walking for 15 minutes after lunch or calling a friend every Tuesday. Make it a consistent part of your day for a few weeks. Once it feels automatic, then maybe add something else. Small wins build momentum.
Start small, build momentum. Great advice. As we wrap up this deep dive, it's really clear just how dramatically our understanding of cognitive aging has evolved. The old idea of inevitable mental decline, well, it's been replaced by an empowering recognition that we have significant personal control over our cognitive destiny.
It's a paradigm shift, really. The research we've discussed paints such a clear picture. The brain remains remarkably plastic throughout life. It's capable of forming new connections, generating new cells in certain areas, and adapting to challenges well into the 10th decade of life and beyond.
That capacity doesn't just fade away.
It really doesn't have an expiration date. The capacity for learning, for connection, for contribution, and for joy that persists.
And the strategies we've explored, lifelong learning, physical exercise, proper nutrition, social engagement, stress management, quality sleep, maybe some technology adoption, optimizing your environment, they all work together, don't they?
Synergistically, yes.
Yeah.
They combine to create what researchers sometimes call a cognitive fitness lifestyle. It's not just one thing, it's the whole package.
A lifestyle approach.
Precisely. And what's particularly encouraging and worth repeating is that it's truly never too late to start.
Really never too late. Even in your 80s or 90s.
The research consistently shows that people who adopt these brain-healthy lifestyles, even in their 70s, 80s, or 90s, can still experience significant cognitive benefits. Their brains are incredibly responsive at any age. You can still make meaningful improvements.
That's incredibly hopeful. We've seen inspiring examples like Grandma Moses starting painting in her 70s and creating acclaimed work into her 90s, or Frank McCourt publishing his first book, Angela's Ashes, at 66 and winning a Pulitzer.
Fantastic examples.
These stories powerfully remind us that age doesn't have to be solely about slowing down. It can absolutely be about new achievements, new discoveries, and finding new ways to contribute and express oneself.
Absolutely. And looking ahead, the future looks even more promising in some ways.
How so?
Well, future trends like advances in genetics might lead to more personalized approaches to brain health. Evolving technology, like virtual reality or AI, could offer new forms of cognitive engagement and social connection. We're seeing better integration of brain health into general medical care and the development of more age-friendly communities.
Designing communities to support healthy aging.
Exactly. All these things suggest that maintaining mental sharpness after 80 will hopefully become even more achievable and supported in the future.
Of course, challenges remain. We can't ignore things like health disparities and unequal access to resources, healthy food, safe places to exercise, educational opportunities.
Those are critical societal challenges we need to address, absolutely.
But the empowering message that emerges from our entire discussion today is this. While we cannot completely prevent all age-related changes in the brain, you, the listener, have tremendous power to influence how those changes affect your daily lives and your overall well-being.
You are not just a passive recipient of aging.
Right. So, for those of you listening who might be approaching or past your 80th birthday, remember that every single day offers new opportunities to invest in your cognitive health. Every book you read, every conversation you have, every new skill you attempt, every step you take, it all contributes to your brain's resilience and your quality of life.
Every little bit counts.
For younger listeners, the time to start building that cognitive reserve is right now. The habits and lifestyle choices you make today are fundamental investments in your future cognitive health. Think of it as saving for your cognitive retirement.
A very worthwhile investment.
And for those of you supporting loved ones over 80, your encouragement, your willingness to include them in challenging and meaningful activities, your patience, and your recognition of their continued capacity for growth, well, the importance of that cannot be overstated.
That support makes a world of difference.
As we conclude, I want to leave you with this final thought to mull over. Aging is not really about decline. It's fundamentally about adaptation. Those who age most successfully are often not those who try desperately to remain unchanged, but those who learn to embrace change, seek out appropriate challenges, and continue to grow and learn throughout their entire lives.
Well said. The capacity for learning, for connection, for contribution, and for joy truly doesn't have an expiration date.